This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, fourth teen charged. A 16-year-old appears in youth court accused in a homicide at the Halifax shopping centre.
Not reoffering. The mayor of CBRM says she won't seek re-election this fall because of threats to her family.
And celebrating Marconi. Students tune in to the 150th anniversary of the birth of the father of radio.
Our northerly flow continues into Friday, meaning cooler temps in the north and east, milder in through the south and west. Overall, a favorable weekend shaping up. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. A fourth teenager has been charged with murder in the attack last week of Ahmad Mar al-Maraq.
Al-Maraq was stabbed in a parkade at the Halifax shopping centre and died later in hospital. The suspect made his first court appearance this morning. Blair Rhodes reports.
The 16-year-old was one of two that police arrested about 20 minutes after the stabbing. They caught up to the pair on a Halifax transit bus. They were initially released without charges. Earlier this week, police arrested one of the 16-year-olds and charged him with second-degree murder. They charged the other one yesterday, and he was brought into court today. But he's already in custody on other charges, including breaching conditions of a previous sentence, and he's facing federal drug charges. 2 days after Ahmad Mar al-Maraq was killed, police arrested two 14-year-olds, a boy and a girl, and charged them with second-degree murder. This morning, the 14-year-old appeared by video from jail to face a sexual assault charge. There was no further information on that charge. All four suspects are being held in custody and are under orders to have no contact with one another. The Crown has indicated for each of them that if they are convicted, they could face an adult sentence. All the charges and all of the accused will return to court on May 13th. Blair Rhodes, CBC News, Halifax.
A 49-year-old man that prompted an emergency alert in Dartmouth earlier this week has been arrested and charged. The incident took place around Gaston Road Tuesday morning. People in the area were asked to shelter in place while they searched for a man that had a firearm and was threatening people he knows. He fled the area before police arrived at the scene. He eventually turned himself into police last night. He is charged with assault and uttering threats to cause bodily harm or death.
2 years ago, a study called for major changes to Halifax's dual policing mode. Now work is underway to better integrate Halifax Regional Police and RCMP. The new Community Safety Department was created to help with the integration. They will explore civilian responses to mental health calls rather than police. Other changes could see both forces train together, share technology, or create a joint emergency response team. The executive director of the Community Safety Department brought the update to the Board of Police Commissioners on Wednesday. He says a project manager will soon be hired.
That individual will then basically start to work with those groups and say, okay, which recommendations are we going to tackle first or in parallel at the beginning, do some prioritizations, help with the action plan, and then help with the reporting back.
Both police forces and the new Community Safety Department plan to bring a joint budget before council next year. CBRM Mayor Amanda McDougall will not reoffer in October, citing derogatory and threatening comments towards her family. She says it became too much to handle during her time in office. The CBC's Kyle Moore has the story.
I'm excited and a little bit nervous.
Amanda McDougall became the first female mayor of the Cape Breton Regional Municipality in 2020. It's been a challenging 4 years, but she says being a woman made the job harder.
I think the thing that surprised me the most was because I was a woman, the bar was set a lot higher. I had to prove myself much more than any man before me. And that was hard. And that's a hard thing to carry with you every single day when you're working.
McDougall has been busy navigating a pandemic, dealing with a hurricane that left major damage in CBRM, and recently a winter storm that dropped 150 centimeters of snow on the island. But her biggest hurdle has been trying to protect her family, including her 3-year-old son.
People have used Emmett and his Down syndrome as a way to attack me and hurt me. But what happens is you're hurting my family. You're hurting my husband. You're hurting Emmett's brother. You're hurting the wider family and friends that love that little boy. And that's not fair.
McDougall also says that she has received threats and has had people showing up at her home.
There was some sort of rift between two wildlife associations and who has the rights to fill the Beacon Street Dam with fish. And somehow that resulted in a sign being put in front of my house saying that I did not like Black and disabled people, which is entirely untrue, but also that really, that upset my neighbor.
I know my colleagues have been attacked and threatened personally. I have had police had to be involved over something as silly as their garbage wasn't picked up.
CBRM councillor Early McMullen says people need to rethink what sort of behavior is appropriate publicly.
You can tell somebody you're not happy with them. You can tell somebody you don't appreciate them, you don't work with them, you don't like their views, without being threatening, without being derogatory.
McDougall was first elected as councillor for District 8 in 2016 before moving to the mayor's chair. Her focus moving forward?
Just to be mom and not mayor.
Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
The Nova Scotia Teachers Union says it is in favor of a province-wide policy to restrict cell phone use in school classrooms. The province announced there will be a policy in place by the fall. Ryan Lutz of the NSTU says cell phones can be used for learning in the classroom, but the time has come for uniform restrictions.
I think it's also important to recognize that for many educators and many students, they are almost all the time a distraction, and so we need to balance that, and we need to find a way ultimately that our kids are learning. That we need to have a societal conversation about our students and social media, and how we can, because there's lots of scientific evidence that says social media is impacting kids' self-esteem, especially our young girls, and it's a problem that I think again we have to grapple with, but not just in the four walls of the school.
I'll talk to Ryan Lutz of the NSTU about what he'd like to see in the cell phone policy. That conversation coming up a little later. That's our newsmaker just after 6:30. The provincial government has a new program aimed at creating more licensed not-for-profit childcare spaces. The province plans to spend $25 million on new construction or major renovations. Priority will be given to diverse or vulnerable communities, communities with low childcare coverage rates, and projects in publicly owned facilities. The application deadline for the Early Learning and Childcare Major Infrastructure Program is June 13th.
Flights resumed at St. John's International Airport today after a runway incident involving a flight from Halifax. A PAL charter flight from Halifax to St. John's overran the runway during a landing attempt at around 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon. No one was injured and subsequent flights were canceled in St. John's. It was foggy at the time, though there are systems in place on the runway that are supposed to help pilots land. The Transportation Safety Board is now investigating.
The province's largest hospital now has properly working sprinklers. The fire suppression system at the Halifax Infirmary is fully operational following a few weeks of partial protection in some areas. The issue began after a water main break last month affected water pressure. The helipad at the infirmary is also back in service. It couldn't be used without proper fire suppression in place.
Summertime temperatures are on the horizon, but for many Nova Scotians, so are fears of accompanying wildfires. So far, the province says the Department of Natural Resources has responded to 27 wildfires. Officials with Parks Canada are already putting the work to prepare. The CBC's Brett Ruskin has the details.
Back in the day, if someone yelled fire at this 200-year-old military defensive fort, it may have had something to do with the cannons and perhaps an approaching enemy ship. But today, fire means something very different, but still something to defend against. So crews here at Parks Canada have been doing projects like this, trimming down tree limbs, clearing away areas, thinning out different patches of wood if they are close to buildings on this federal land. I was able to speak with Matt Foster. He's one of the organizers of different information sessions to share with residents information about this wildfire resiliency strategy. Here's what he had to say.
So basically what we've done here is just selectively thinned the conifer trees. Just to create gaps between trees, you're less likely to have fire advance quicker through the forest. Also, we've removed a lot of the ladder fuels, which would be the limbs. That helps fire get up into the trees. So by removing those limbs, you're less likely to have that issue.
So again, for the last few months, crews have been working at Parks Canada land not only to prevent the spread of wildfire out to the community if a fire should start on Parks Canada land, but also to protect Parks Canada land if a fire should start out in the community and begin moving towards a park. Now, there are a series of information sessions being hosted. There was one last night here at York Redoubt. There's another next week, all surrounding the National Community Wildfire Prevention Day that is happening on Saturday. So the overall message is to prepare your property, whether you are the federal agency, Parks Canada, or whether you are just a homeowner who lives in an area perhaps prone to wildfires, to clear away areas in kind of concentric circles, clearing away more flammable items closer to your home and then expanding from there. Here's Matt Foster once again.
The treatment will protect not only the infrastructure of the fort, but it will also protect the surrounding neighborhood in the event of a wildfire. So that could be a fire that starts on our property, will be less likely to spread to the community. And if there is a fire that starts in the community, it will be less of an impact to the site. The closer you are, like ideally that 1.5 meters would be free of any combustible materials. Out to the 10 meters, ideally you would also be free of combustible materials.
So all of this comes on the heels of Nova Scotia's worst wildfire season on record last year. And Parks Canada says they're adopting a strategy, a program, a mentality that is fairly common farther out west, the Fire Smart Canada strategy, becoming more common here out east as those wildfire seasons become more frequent and more intense indeed. So Parks Canada working with community members as well as community partners and different agencies to, again, collaborate and work together to limit the damage and the effects of those wildfires. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.
Ryan Snoddon with us now, and it is dry out there for sure.
Yeah, and folks are nervous.
Yeah, folks, rightfully so. And so we need to keep an eye on the burn ban. And again, as we push closer to the weekend, which is looking nice and dry, we'll have to make sure that we're keeping an updated check on this map, which is, of course, the Nova Scotia burn ban, and you can check that anytime at novascotia.ca/burnsafe. Most of the province in a restricted phase, which means burning is allowed, but only at night, the exception being Inverness County and Colchester County. So, again, I'm expecting that will update over the next few days. Again, we're not really looking at much in the way of precipitation. How did we get to this after so many months of rain and rain and rain? Well, April was pretty dry. In fact, most of the province saw just 50 to 75% of normal precipitation for the month of April. And it was even drier up here in the Cumberland, edging into Colchester area as well. Just 25 to 50% of normal rainfall there, near normal along the eastern shore only. So yeah, we had that, and temperatures were near and above average for the month of April as well. Near average for most of us, quite a bit above average right along the Atlantic coastline at Shearwater there at a degree above average. So moving forward, what we're going to be looking at is more of the same. Unfortunately, I know you folks along the Northumberland shore, it's another cool day today and another cool one tomorrow with those northerly winds. Few shower chances overnight tonight and throughout the day on Friday. Brighter and milder down in the southwest where we'll squeak up into the teens. Generally a similar story on Saturday, but a little more widespread sunshine into the afternoon as this area of high pressure settles in. We'll clear the skies, becoming a mix of sun and cloud. Winds a little bit lighter, and so everybody will warm up a little bit. And then a carrot for you folks along the Northumberland shore after days and days and days of that northerly wind. The winds shift to south on Sunday. Increasing clouds, yes, but widespread temperatures into the teens, including for the Northumberland shore, edging into Cape Breton and through the valley. The coolest temps on Sunday will be along that Atlantic coastline. We'll break that all down in full detail with your weekend and 7-day forecast coming up. By the way, there is some shower activity. There's some shower activity on the way for Monday as well. Okay. So we'll talk about that as well.
All right.
Lots to talk about.
Do stay tuned. Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Nova Scotia will continue to use a motor vehicle inspection system. In Nova Scotia, MVIs need to be renewed every 2 years, but other provinces only require an inspection if a car is imported from another province or country. Public Works Minister Kim Maslin says the idea to get rid of the system was brought to government earlier this year, and polling was conducted on the idea.
Also, I know our caucus members certainly were out in their communities, talking with businessmen, talking to people within their communities, asking them what their feeling was of it. And the feeling was pretty much 7 out of 10 Nova Scotians were saying keep the motor vehicle inspection program. We need it to make sure the vehicles are safe on the roads.
Naslund says the government could look at extending the renewal period for MVIs.
Halifax Harbour Bridges is phasing out the hard-shelled MacPass transponders for both passenger and commercial traffic in favor of the easy-to-install stickers. The sticker transponders were first provided to all new customers 3 years ago. The Bridge Commission says they have provided a better experience with fewer read errors at the toll booths. It also says they are compatible with the e-tolling options the Commission is pursuing. Their goal is to complete the conversion by the end of the year. The Commission says there are roughly 350,000 active transponders, and half of those still need to be upgraded to the new sticker pass.
Nonprofit groups in Atlantic Canada that collect so-called ghost gear are growing concerned about federal funding. They usually retrieve tons of abandoned fishing nets, lines, and ropes that litter coastlines and threaten marine life. The CBC's Peter Cowan explains.
Underneath the surface of the cold, clear Atlantic waters lies a dirty secret. Old fishing gear washed away in storms doesn't just look bad. These lobster traps and crab pots continue to kill animals for years.
It's ghost gear fishing and continues to take a very valuable resource that's not able to be harvested commercially or certainly could affect the sustainability of a various species.
Ghost gear is also a major source of ocean plastics. This green rope is ubiquitous in the fishery, and when it's left underwater, it starts to break down. Jess Melvin studies microplastics and often finds fragments of that rope inside fish.
So many of these marine species that are potentially could be ingesting plastics are also important wild food species. So we don't want to see impacts of plastic pollution coming down the line to communities and people who depend on them for wild food.
Over the last 4 years, Fisheries and Oceans Canada has given millions to nonprofit groups to clean up the gear. The government says those efforts have recovered 2,200 tons of old fishing gear, some of it reused and as much as possible recycled. But so far this year, there's a big catch: no funding.
Groups like ours are really stuck in limbo. We can't hire, we can't make season plans, I can't contract any captains, so we're just stuck.
The federal government insists it's still committed to removing ghost gear.
The timelines may be a little different from last year, but the intent is still there to work with those groups to ensure that that they're actively involved in being the stewards of the ocean.
I think we've only scratched the surface.
The groups are itching to get back to work, but warn it'll take months to hire staff and skippers to do the work this year, even after the money's announced. They worry the window is closing to clean up more gear this year. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, students in Cape Breton paid tribute to an important inventor today.
An inventor who changed the course of history by carrying out experiments in their own backyard. An event held today at the Marconi National Historic Site in Table Head in Glace Bay honored the legacy of Guglielmo Marconi, who was born 150 years ago.
Marconi conducted several experiments in Cape Breton at the turn of this century, and in 1902 transmitted the first wireless message from North America across the Atlantic Ocean.
Members of Glace Bay High's Interact Club made presentations about the Italian inventor and his legacy.
We've really learned a whole lot about just how his whole invention just helps us from back then to now, and how a lot of things that we do in our daily life we wouldn't have if he didn't invent what he did back then.
The event also included presentations on how wireless technology has helped with things such as disaster relief and community development.
We have a lot to thank Mr. Marconi for when you think about it. Quick break on the way. Stay with us.
Yes, there's a lot more to come on CBC Nova Scotia News. Pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel protesters faced off at McGill today, where there was a large police presence.
An outbreak of avian flu in dairy cows in the U.S. keeps growing. Scientists here are warning Canada isn't doing enough to keep track of the virus.
And a pretty nice looking evening out there. We've got Ryan up next with his weather forecast. See you in a bit.
Well, it has been dry out there, as we've been saying, but I've been noticing the buds on the trees really popping and spring rolling right along.
And once that rain comes, there'll be a big jump. I know that the grass will get a good drink and sprout up.
It doesn't take much this time of year to, further that greening. And unfortunately, Monday isn't looking like a real substantial shot. Not as much as we need, for sure. Maybe 5 to 10 millimeters.
Okay.
So again, we need more, but at least we'll be able to maybe back things off on the burn ban side of things for a couple of days. So we'll take it. Have a look at our webcam shot from Nova Scotia webcams. Viewer pictures still to come. That's a nice teaser for you. There's the few sunny breaks in through the Lunenburg area right now.
Traffic's heavy in Lunenburg tonight, isn't it?
They're going the speed limit, though.
Little they know the whole province is watching as they crawl through downtown Lunenburg. And yes, it is 11 degrees there right now. Mainly cloudy skies, but a couple of sunny breaks as you can see. High temperatures around 12 degrees in Lunenburg today, 17 at Shelburne and at Kedzie. You can see 7, the hot spots in the northeast. And again, as I mentioned earlier in the program, it's just been that relentless northerly flow for the Northumberland shore. You folks can't buy a double-digit day, it seems, but that is about to change. And change for the week on the weekend, which is great. Sunday looking like your best day in a long time. 16 right now still at Kedzie. We're to 888s there for the Tri-County area. And you can see temperatures 11 degrees at Ingonish Beach, but just around the bend, of course, an onshore wind has temps closer to 5 at Shetticamp and in through Inverness County. We've got the northerly flow right now, 10, 20, 25 at last check in through Halifax. Some gusts upwards of 30 to 40 in through Cape Breton. Couple of sun breaks out there, no question. Cape Breton down towards that South Shore region and edging into the Lunenburg area. Now this system here is going to be moving off to the south, but an isolated shower, not out of the question. Looks like most of that not quite making it to the surface based on what we're seeing. But this may skirt us with a couple of showers over the next couple of hours. What we're going to be looking at, again, some cool air wrapping in to the prairies after some snow over the last couple of days in Alberta. The warm-up surging up into the north and east, and we will be tapping into some of that milder air on the backside of that area of high pressure, which will push into the region this weekend. Temperatures tonight ranging between 3 and 6 degrees in most cases, those northerly winds. They'll be a little bit lighter in the west and a little stronger in through Cape Breton and the east. Now, as we look at the hour by hour, again, there are those isolated shower chances, but done by midnight in the Tri-County area. And tomorrow it's going to be, again, pretty cloudy to start, some fog patches out there early on as well. And then we're going to be looking at a pretty similar setup to what we've been seeing the last couple of days. Skies brightening in the south and west, clouds remaining fairly dominant in the north and east and across Cape Breton, with some shower chances lingering here in the onshore flow from the north. 20 gusting to 30 to 40. We're looking at possibly some double digits in through the Cape Breton region. But 6 to 8 degrees, kind of the name of the game for most of the north and east. We'll be seeing temperatures, better chances of some double digits down into the HRM, and then further to the south and west, talking about the good possibility of some 13 to 14 degree temperatures for southwestern parts of Nova Scotia. Now for Saturday, we're looking at a similar type setup. Watch the arrows here from the north, a little bit of a developing more easterly flow into the afternoon, so that could hurt temperatures right here along that south shore if you're right along the coast. Now, note Sunday and the setup change for Sunday. So high pressure comes in Saturday afternoon. Yes, clouds stubborn to start on Saturday, but looks like we'll clear throughout the afternoon, saving our mid to late afternoon with a pretty nice one. And then for Sunday, lots of sunshine to start, some increasing clouds into the afternoon, but we're going to stay dry on Sunday, which is, again, key. And the winds are going to be from the south on Sunday. So it looks like temperatures will range from around 13 to 17 on Sunday, and they'll be warmest from the valley through Colchester, Cumberland to the Northumberland shore. The coolest temperatures with that southerly flow are going to be right along the Atlantic coastline, South Shore, Eastern Shore, even into the Halifax area. Temperatures will likely be closer to the low double digits, maybe even single digits right along the coastline. So you're going to be mindful of that for Sunday. Showers for Monday, yes, not enough, but we'll take every drop we can get right now with some shower chances lingering into Tuesday. But temps staying very spring-like into next week. Tom and Amy.
Does look spring-like.
It does.
Okay, Ryan, thanks so much. We'll chat a little later.
Thank you.
Up next, I'll speak with Ryan Lutz of the Nova Scotia Teachers Union about what a new policy on cell phone usage in the classroom might look like. He is our newsmaker interview.
Please stick around. You're watching CBC Nova Scotia News.
The Nova Scotia government is working on a new policy related to cell phones in classrooms. The Department of Education wants to consult with teachers and school advisory councils and hopes to have a policy in place for September. Ryan Lutz, president of the Nova Scotia Teachers Union, is a high school teacher and he has kids of his own in the school system. So you're seeing the cell phone debate and the discussion from all angles, I suppose.
For sure.
Let's start first of all with what kind of rules there are in place in the schools right now.
Yeah, so I mean, it really varies from school to school and even teacher to teacher. So there really isn't a system-wide approach. Some schools have kind of taken it on themselves to have kind of school-wide policies, and I've heard really good things about those policies when they are implemented at the school level. And then, you know, again, at larger schools, teachers might have individual policies on their own.
What do you make of the province now looking at some sort of province-wide policy?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it's a good news story. I think most teachers, especially at the secondary levels, realize that cell phones have become a distraction. They do have some positives. I myself have seen them used in a positive way at times, but I think for the most part, for many of our students, they're taking away from their learning.
Because they can be a learning device as well, right? I mean, presumably you're talking about teachers using them as teachers' aids.
Yeah, no question.
Classroom?
Teachers, when they're used, when a teacher wants to use them effectively, it can be done really well. You can engage the kids in that way. Myself, I had last time I was teaching math, I had 2 students who the only way I could communicate with them was through Google Translate. So if province were to ban phones, and that's kind of a sensational word, that would inhibit the learning of those 2 students, and that's not what we want. So what we want is them used for productive purposes, and if it's not productive, then put them away.
So what is the distraction? Is it that kids are on their phones on social media in the classrooms, or are some schools, are they preventing social media access on their Wi-Fi networks? Like, what's happening in the classroom?
Yeah, I mean, I think social media is a big part of it. It's not just a big part in school. I mean, in general, social media for our students and for our kids is a societal problem. We're seeing the ramifications of that. There's lots of scientific evidence that of the negative impact of social media. And so, having discussions about when the right time to engage our kids in social media, when's the right time for students to be on Facebook or other social media sites, I think it's having those conversations both in the classroom, but also in society in general is really important.
So to what degree do those kinds of conversations happen now in classrooms?
I mean, certainly teachers are doing their best, but to have those conversations, I think parents are probably doing their best too. I've heard from a lot of parents who are struggling with cell phone use at home as well, with their children, right? They want them to put it away, and it's hard. So I think, again, if this conversation's happening in the 4 walls of the school, which I think is a good conversation, it should also be happening kind of in a broader society as well.
Can a teacher now not just say, put the phones away or put them at the doorway, don't take them in the class, leave them in your locker, that kind of thing? Like, does that happen?
Sure. I mean, it certainly does. It's hard to do without a system-wide policy. And I also think having parent buy-in as well is important. If parents understand what schools are doing and are on board, I think you'll have an easier time. And so that's what I hope comes out of the department review, is getting teachers' voice in that, having NSTU's voice, hearing from parents, and ultimately finding a way that we can use cell phones for the productive uses that they can be, and then if they're not being used for that, have them away so that students can be engaged in learning.
And so if you get your say with the province as they come up with a policy, what would you like to see in it?
I mean, I think there has to be some teacher autonomy for it to be used for productive purposes. Again, I go back to those 2 students who the only way we communicated with is through Google Translate, and I'd hate for it to be an kind of an all-out ban. But I do think teachers, administrators, and schools need more support to ensure that there's a policy in place that does restrict their use.
Is there a problem for the teachers to police the use in the classroom?
Oh, absolutely. Especially myself as a high school teacher, a lot of the time classroom management is put your phone away, like just trying to deal with that and trying to engage the students. And it's really hard to engage your students in learning if they have a device in front of them that they can have access to whatever they want, whatever interests them. I'm never going to be more interesting than what they want to be doing on their cell phone. And so we have to find a way system-wide to deal with that. And again, that's what I hope comes out of these conversations.
Governments and policies seems to stop short of saying ban. I mean, what happened in Ontario this week is not a ban, it's just restrictions in place. Are you good with that? Like, we shouldn't say ban completely?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I wouldn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think they can be used productively, but I think it's also important to recognize that for many educators, and many students, they are almost all the time a distraction, and so we need to balance that, and we need to find a way ultimately that our kids are learning. That we need to have a societal conversation about our students and social media, and how we can, because there's lots of scientific evidence that says social media is impacting kids' self-esteem, especially our young girls, and it's a problem that I think, again, we have to grapple with, but not just in the 4 walls of the school.
Yeah, that broader question for sure. Nice of you to come in, Ryan Lutz. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Coming up, farmers in Alberta are working on plans to move livestock in case of wildfire evacuations this summer.
Pro-Palestinian demonstrators continue to gather on the campuses of several Canadian universities. Tensions are especially high at McGill University in Montreal.
Protesters there set up an encampment 6 days ago and have ignored calls to dismantle it. In response, Quebec's premier has asked police to intervene. Alison Northcott has more.
The encampment is now in its 6th day, with protesters here demanding that McGill University divest from companies they say have links to Israel. But there was also a counter-protest here, with Jewish groups gathering in front of the university gates. They are against the encampment. They say it should be taken down. They say that it is making Jewish students on campus feel unsafe and feel threatened. There was a strong police presence on campus with officers on horseback, on bikes, and on foot. Lines of police keeping both sides physically separated.
I think it's important that students and everyone know that the Jewish community is not, we're not going to give in to anti-Semitism, and that we're going to stand for our values that we've always stood for peace, for love, for peaceful discord, and for defending our right to exist and our right to self-determination.
It's important to recognize that we're talking about over 35,000 people genocided. This isn't a war, Israel against Hamas, and I'm tired of hearing it framed like that. This is a genocide of Palestinian civilians, of children.
Despite calls from McGill University for the people behind the encampment to leave, it remains here. They have asked for police assistance, but so far police have not moved in to dismantle the camp. Premier François Legault says it's time for the encampment to go.
Everybody in Quebec has to respect laws. And right now, these encampments are illegal. So we have to respect law, and I want to make sure that the police officers make sure that the laws are respected.
But for now, the demonstrators are still here. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
The UCLA campus is relatively quiet now following an eruption of violence surrounding pro-Palestinian demonstrators overnight. Hundreds of protesters were arrested when police moved in to clear their encampment. Lindsay Duncombe has more.
The protesters are gone, many arrested, and the cleanup is well underway here. Less than 24 hours ago, this place was full of tents and barricades. Police moved into the pro-Palestinian encampment in the wee hours. Hundreds of officers from several forces, some firing rubber bullets. Protesters resisted. Police say some threw projectiles. Irritants sprayed on both sides. This police action came a day after 100 counter-protesters clashed with protesters in the camp.
We didn't see no injuries on both ends. Our officers were able to remove the agitators. We're still working on a few agitators that are still on campus. However, we are making progress. Our officers are going to be here all day assisting the UCLA Police Department, try to get the protesters to discourage the protesters from coming back. We'll be here and we're very well prepared.
More than 200 protesters were arrested, led one by one onto buses. It will be up to prosecutors to determine if charges will be laid.
I think that police uphold the system of oppression, and obviously it's not right. They're just upholding the status quo. So we need to resist, and we need to keep protesting, and that's the only way change will be made, right? By resisting the status quo.
President Joe Biden spoke about the campus protests in Washington today.
Dissent is essential to democracy. But dissent must never lead to disorder or to denying the rights of others so students can finish the semester and their college education.
He rejected calls to bring in the National Guard and said his administration's stance on Israel hasn't changed. More than 50,000 students attend UCLA. Today and tomorrow, classes will be virtual. The tents may be gone, but the anger and divisions remain. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Los Angeles.
A new UN report says rebuilding Gaza's shattered landscape could take more than 15 years.
72% of all housing in Gaza has been destroyed. We haven't seen anything like this since 1945, since Second World War. That intensity in such a short time and the massive scale of destruction.
Data shows about 80,000 homes have been destroyed in the war between Israel and Hamas. UN officials say decades of human developments have been wiped out by nearly 7 months of bombardment. The conflict started after the deadly attack in southern Israel by Hamas fighters on October the 7th. As the fighting continues in Gaza, many more middle-class households are expected to slide below the poverty line.
Ottawa has released its annual report on greenhouse gas emissions for 2022. It was a year of economic rebound as pandemic restrictions subsided. The data shows emissions higher than 2021, but lower than the previous 23 years. And the federal environment minister says that's proof Ottawa's current policies are working.
Overall, this updated report shows significantly lower emissions by 44 million tons than our pre-pandemic levels. That is the equivalent of removing 13 million vehicles from our roads.
The Liberal government's goal is to cut emissions by 40% below 2005 levels by 2030. Experts say a lot more needs to be done to meet Canada's target. While the national numbers were lower in 2022 compared to 2005, Alberta saw its emissions go up 7% for the same period. It's a highly challenging and potentially heartbreaking aspect of wildfire evacuations, moving large numbers of farm animals to safety. But last year's extreme weather is prompting farmers in Alberta to prepare ahead for this season. The CBC's Dennis Coveton reports.
After a dry winter and spring, there is plenty of dry grass and wood strewn about the fields and forests of the Peace region. Perfect conditions for a fire to take off.
Last few years have been challenging for us. We've went through fires, we've went through floods up in this part of the world.
And across the province, livestock owners like Gary Smith are putting together plans to keep their animals safe. That includes preparing them for an emergency.
Have your animals used to being moved around, have them used to having people around them if you can. With horses and some of the smaller livestock, sometimes it's very difficult to get them to go where you want them to go because they pick up on the energy and the excitement or crisis of the moment, and they might be a little harder to handle than normal.
The Alberta government recommends that producers also identify safe places to relocate their animals in the event of a wildfire.
Up here in Mackenzie County, we have emergency response plan for the agriculture, for livestock, whether it's horses, cows, pigs, whatever you got. We got the grazing reserve that we can house animals in evacuation purposes.
Alberta Wildfire advises producers to proactively share their plans and information about their animals with each other.
Some of these things can include what type of animals that you have on your farm, what kind of medications that the animals have, and any, anything high risk that you might have on your farm.
Smith says keeping a cool head is paramount, especially when animals need to be relocated.
To bring them out of the pasture, do it as you normally would, and pay attention to your stock. They'll tell you a little bit too, so follow along with them and move them into position, and then you can get them in a pen and do what you got to do, sort them out and get them loaded on the trucks.
And if the animals cannot be safely moved in time,
last resort, cut your fences, run them through, and we'll gather them after the fire stopped.
Dennis Coveton, CBC News, Grande Prairie.
U.S. officials are trying to contain a massive outbreak of avian flu in cattle south of the border. And scientists here are warning Canada is not doing enough to proactively monitor for the virus. Lauren Pelly has more on their calls for action.
South of the border, an unprecedented outbreak of bird flu in dairy cattle keeps growing. More than 30 herds across 9 U.S. states now have confirmed infections, and scientists warn the outbreak is even bigger than it appears. Government tests on processed milk found virus fragments in 1 out of every 5 samples.
The fact that we're finding viral RNA in pasteurized milk doesn't mean that there's virus in the pasteurized milk that's going to make people sick. But it does mean that there was an infected cow contributing to the milk supply.
Officials say there are no reports of this virus in Canadian dairy cattle, but there have been millions of infections among wild and farmed birds across the country, suggesting there's plenty of H5N1 circulating here, too.
CBC News asked federal officials what process is in place to detect any traces of the virus in Canadian milk. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says that's not happening yet. They'll help with testing should H5N1 be detected in Canadian cattle. The agency is also requiring dairy cows imported from the U.S. to be screened for bird flu.
I think we're way behind the virus.
Scientists say Canada needs to be more proactive.
In the absence of a robust national surveillance program, there's no way to know if there is infections here or not.
At the University of Guelph, researchers are taking matters into their own hands. The team started tracking influenza in Ontario wastewater a few months ago to study trends in human infections. Now they're pivoting to see if any H5N1 shows up.
We're seeing very low levels, if any, of influenza right now. So if we should see a sudden spike, then that would certainly get our attention.
The hope is by tracking the virus early, there's a chance Canada could prevent an explosion of cases striking our dairy cattle as well. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Netball, a sport similar to basketball, is popular in many countries, and it also has fans in Canada. The sport may not replace hockey as a national obsession, but it is growing in popularity here. The CBC's Pippa Reed headed to a netball court to find out why.
I grew up in Australia where netball dominated Saturday mornings, but the game hasn't taken off so much here in Canada. However, that could be changing. So how does netball work? Well, it's pretty easy when you get the hang of the basics. Two teams are made up of 7 players who play different positions. Those positions decide where you're allowed to go on the court. Now, unlike basketball, you can't dribble the ball at all and you have to stay in your zone. You can't run with the ball, and when you get the ball, you have to throw it within 3 seconds. Only 2 designated positions from each team are able to score the goals, and the team with the most goals wins. Got it? Great! Amy Matthews is the lead director of Netball Edmonton.
With Netball Edmonton, we have people of all ages and abilities, and we have a lot of players who had never played netball before, and then they joined us, picked it up, loved it, and now they're playing in tournaments and coming to training every week.
At just 17 years old, Uya Kabara plays in Team Alberta's under-19 squad.
I learned netball in Namibia when I was in grade 4. Because I went for tryouts, and then my coach was like, "You're so good." Then I joined the team. I think the best thing of playing netball is to play as a team, to win as a team. That's all.
Savi Senaratna is 71 years old and a former netballer for the Sri Lankan national team. When she moved to Canada in 1980, she says there were few opportunities for her to play netball.
Initially, when I started, it was only the ladies playing. Now we have, some of the boys joining us, which is nicer. It's a beautiful game. The youngsters keep me young, right? And they're very good to me. And, I like to run with them, keep up with them. So it's helped me to keep young.
We're super excited to be hosting our first ever tournament here in Edmonton. And we'll be hosting over 7 teams here in May. And there'll be lots of fun and games with that. We'll have socials and then also a fundraiser as well. So, yeah, really excited about that.
Well, that's netball in a nutshell. See you on the court.
Canada's main stock index gained almost 100 points today, helped by gains in industrial and utility stocks. Here's a look at where the markets closed. Are you kind of excited about the viewer pick tonight? Because Ryan's been teasing us a little bit off camera.
Starting with some trivia.
Yeah, trivia time. Where is the tallest lighthouse in the Maritimes located?
They're not responding.
We had guesses in the commercial.
The buzzer, yeah, it's true. Let's show you. And so, yes, the tallest lighthouse in the Maritimes is, yes, right here at Cape Sable Island.
It is tall.
It's beauty.
It stands 101 feet tall, and it is also celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. And thanks to Leah for sharing this. Leah is the president of the Friends of Cape Sable Island Lighthouse. So yes, thanks to Leah for sharing that. Ryan's Picks at cbc.ca. Always great when we can add some trivia into the show.
Learn something.
Yes, and it's going to be a beautiful day down at Cape Sable as we work our way into tomorrow. 13, 14 degrees there, and we're going to be seeing that all that southwest part of the province will be our warmest. Coolest in the north and east yet again, but that won't be the case for too much longer. We'll creep up into the double digits there for Saturday. And yeah, it looks like as we turn the page into Sunday, the north part of the province will be the warmest as the winds become southerly. And it's all because of this area of high pressure, which is going to settle in. You can see those winds from the north, from the north, from the north. But as we move into Sunday, that area of high pressure moves off to the south and the winds shift to the south. And yeah, temps on Sunday ranging from 13 to 17.
Sounds lovely.
All right, we're going disco now. It's been 50 years since ABBA won the Eurovision Song Contest with their song Waterloo. The victory turned the Swedish group into an international pop sensation.
I love ABBA. People in a city there are reliving the good old days at an exhibition to mark the anniversary.
In my generation, it was also very common that people asked you, do you prefer Beatles or Stones? And my reply was always ABBA. It's the music I grew up with.
Yeah, fans are immersing themselves in the group's sounds and styles at the ABBA Museum. They're taking in exhibits as well as segments on the musical Mamma Mia and the band's virtual stage show ABBA Voyage.
The exhibit is in Malmo, the same city that's hosting this year's Eurovision Song Contest on May the 11th.
That'll be fun.
It's fun music for sure. That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.